The summer of 2025 marks a turning point for Canada, not with warmth, but with the chill of a trade crisis. President Trump's US threatens a sweeping 35% tariff on all Canadian goods, set for August 1st. This isn't just a business story, it's a direct hit to the heart of one of the world's most integrated economic partnerships. The choices made now in Ottawa and Washington will shape jobs, prices, and the future of both nations. This is more than a policy spat. It's a test of sovereignty and national resolve. For Canadians, it's personal, forcing a reckoning with our reliance on a single, powerful trading partner. The world is watching. Can a middle power stand up to a superpower's aggressive tactics? The threat is unprecedented in scale, targeting every sector, not just the usual flashpoints like lumber or dairy. The US-Mexico-Canada agreement itself is at stake, the very deal Trump once championed. This isn't a distant rivalry, it's a clash between deeply intertwined neighbors. The supply chains built over decades are now at risk, with tariffs threatening to grind the machine to a halt. Businesses brace for disruption, jobs hang in the balance, and consumers on both sides will pay the price. The world holds its breath, hoping for a resolution that favors cooperation over conflict. The stakes could not be higher. The path forward is uncertain, and failure would be costly for both countries. This is a high-stakes standoff, a geopolitical chess match with global implications. The next move will define the future of North American trade. Today's tensions are just the latest in a long, tangled history of US-Canada trade disputes. Despite the image of a seamless partnership, clashes over timber, grain, and manufactured goods have been routine for over a century. The softwood lumber dispute alone has flared for decades, teaching Canada hard lessons about the power imbalance with its southern neighbor. Canada has learned to be strategic, unified, and to use international trade law to its advantage. The 2025 crisis is rooted in Trump's America First doctrine, which sees trade as a zero-sum game. This collides with Canada's belief in rules-based, predictable trade. Supply management for dairy and poultry remains a major sticking point, protected by Canadian law, but a target for US negotiators. For the US, it's an unfair barrier. For Canada, it's a way of life for thousands of families. This single issue captures the challenge: two nations, two sets of priorities, and no easy compromise. The current standoff is a collision of philosophies about how the global economy should work. The outcome will shape the future of North American trade relations. The crisis didn't erupt overnight, it's been building all year. Early 2025 saw Canadian exports to the US hit a 5-year low, warning of trouble ahead. In June, the US doubled tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum to 50%, hitting key industries hard. Canada responded with Restraint, holding its own tariffs steady and scrapping a planned digital services tax to ease tensions. July brought a targeted 50% tariff on Canadian copper, then the ultimate threat, a 35% tariff on all Canadian goods if no deal is reached by August 1st. The dispute escalated from sectoral skirmishes to a full-blown economic crisis. Canada bought time, extending the negotiation deadline and quietly working behind the scenes. Prime Minister Carney called a meeting with provincial premiers to forge a united front. As Washington turned up the volume, Canada chose quiet, strategic diplomacy. The impact of this dispute is immediate and real for Canadian workers and businesses. Steel towns like Hamilton and Sault Ste. Marie have seen orders slow and job losses rise. Uncertainty clouds investment and hiring as companies brace for a possible 35% tariff. Markets, oddly, remain calm. Investors seem numb to tariff threats, betting on a last-minute deal. But on factory floors, anxiety is high. A 35% cost hike could be existential. US manufacturers too rely on Canadian inputs. Tariffs will raise their costs and hit American consumers. Tariffs may look like revenue, but economists agree the real cost is paid at home. The political optics may be useful, but the economic pain is shared on both sides of the border. The stakes are high, and the risks are real for jobs and businesses everywhere. Canada's response has been defined by strategic patience. Prime Minister Carney's government has avoided public confrontation, focusing on quiet, intensive diplomacy. Industry Minister Joly insists Canada won't negotiate in public. Back-channel talks, led by Ambassador Hillman, allow for frank discussions without media pressure. Canada has made targeted concessions, scrapping the digital services tax, absorbing copper tariffs, and pledging funds for border security to keep talks alive. The core principle: hold firm on essentials like supply management but show flexibility elsewhere. This careful balancing act projects strength without provocation, aiming to protect Canadian interests while keeping the door open for a deal. It's a test of nerve, discipline, and strategic restraint. Canada's strongest tool is the USMCA itself, which legally shields many exports from unilateral tariffs. The agreement's dispute panels offer a rules-based path to challenge US actions, shifting the fight from politics to law. By framing the dispute as a matter of treaty obligations, Canada claims the legal high ground. This approach strengthens Canada's position in talks and in global opinion. The crisis has also accelerated Canada's push to diversify trade, expanding ties with the EU, UK, and Asia. Diversification is a long-term project, but every new market reduces vulnerability. The message to the US-Canada's future won't be held hostage to one partner's politics. It's a strategic pivot for a more resilient, globally connected economy. Canada's greatest asset in this crisis is national unity. Political divisions have faded as leaders from all provinces rally behind a common front. The Team Canada approach signals to Washington, pressure won't divide us. Business and labor groups echo this solidarity, supporting the government's measured response. Provinces are even strengthening internal trade to build resilience. Past experience has taught Canadians that unity is essential in high-stakes negotiations. The message is clear. Canada will not be bullied. This consensus gives negotiators a strong mandate and confidence at the table. In a crisis, unwavering domestic support is a powerful tool. As the August 1st deadline nears, experts predict a symbolic handshake deal. Light on substance, heavy on political theater. Both sides need a win for their domestic audiences, and a flexible agreement could avert disaster. Tariff threats are losing their shock value, and markets are showing fatigue. The economic reality US consumers and manufacturers will suffer if tariffs hit. For Canada, even a brief disruption could cause lasting harm, but caving to pressure risks long-term interests. The US risks damaging its most reliable partnership and pushing Canada to diversify faster. Canada's disciplined, patient diplomacy is seen as the best path, preserving credibility and options. Calm, calculated strategy offers the best chance to protect Canada's future. This summer is a test of Canadian character, demanding resilience, unity, and clear-eyed defense of our interests. Canadians must support workers and businesses on the front lines, drawing strength from solidarity. The message to the US: our partnership is bigger than any one dispute. We must appeal to reason, seeking a resolution that strengthens, not weakens, our historic ties. The world is watching how we respond to protectionism and pressure. Canada's approach, patience, unity, and respect for the rule of law, sets an example for others. This is about more than tariffs. It's about sovereignty, partnership, and the world we want to build. By staying calm and strategic, we can emerge stronger and more resilient. The challenges are real, but so is our capacity to overcome them together. Our shared prosperity depends on it.